Okay, students, as yesterday we were discussing about Friedel-Crafts reactions. Let me just revise that and then we'll go ahead. So first we discussed about Friedel-Crafts alkylation, where we are substituting alkyl group on benzene. So we take various Lewis acids like AlCl3, BF3, ZnCl2, FeCl3, and when we react that, especially like RCl reacting with Lewis acid, we might either get a stable carbocation or we might get a polarized alkyl. And as the benzene attacks on that alkyl group, we would get that alkyl getting substituted. Okay. This can be done with different Lewis acids like BF3, and we can do it by HF, okay, and PPA, HF or PPA, that can also give carbocation, which gets added onto benzene, and this is what you will get. Okay. And lastly, we have seen acylation, where RC double bond O will get added onto that. Okay. The mechanism was RC double bond OCl adding with the Lewis acid, reacting with the Lewis acid, we used to get an acyl carbocation that gets added onto benzene, thereby we will get this acyl group. Now the other reagents by which we can generate the acyl, which is the acyl electrophile, are either taking an anhydrate or an acid reacting in the presence of HF. We have seen few questions based on that. And now let us see what are the limitations behind the Friedel-Crafts reaction. Okay, so give the heading, everyone. Let's see the limitations here. So the limitations of Friedel-Crafts reactions. So first let us go one by one. In alkylation, first carbocation rearrangement will take place. So we need to be very clear what is your desired product. Is it with rearrangement or without rearrangement? Similarly, in acylation, carbocation will not undergo rearrangement. So no rearrangement here. So in case if you're expecting a rearrangement product in acylation, then that cannot be achieved. Okay. Now, due to rearrangement, we might get multiple products. So that's why it is difficult to expect one or how many products we will get. For example, just now what you have asked, let me reiterate that. If you have benzene plus the Cl is given, right, in the presence of AlCl3 or BF3, correct, then we might get both products here, one with rearrangement here plus one without rearrangement, like this. Okay. So usually in cases of low temperature, this is major product. At high temperature, this is major product. Okay. BF3, most of the time, this is the major product. Anyways, it is difficult to identify that unless the temperature is given. So if you were asked only the number of products, then you will write both of them. Okay. But suppose if you want to really restrict the rearrangement, then you will take a weak acid. Like for example, if at all I take benzene plus propyl chloride. In the presence of AlCl3, I would still get two products here. Percentage will only depend on temperature. But definitely we can get these two products. One with rearrangement and one without rearrangement. But in the case of FeCl3, the rearranged case is hardly observed. Only without rearrangement, whatever the product that is formed, that is the major product. And this in fact is the only product you will see in FeCl3. So depending upon the requirement, accordingly you have to choose. So the problem with the Friedel-Crafts is you might get multiple products unless and until you have a very weak Lewis acid taken. So while when it comes to acylation, there is no rearrangement because it would get an octet completion. See, in acylation, we'll see R, C, double bond O plus. This will undergo resonance stabilization, forming an OCC, octet completed carbocation. Hence, this carbocation will not further undergo any rearrangement. Correct? Correct. And you know that CO is a very stable molecule. So in certain cases, decarbonylation not carboxylation, decarbonylation is possible. Decarbonylation is possible. That is removal of CO. Removal of CO. When stable carbocation like 3 degree or benzyl is formed. So in such case, actually alkylation is happening. It is not the acylation which is taking place. Let me show you that. Suppose if we take benzene and treat that with Me thrice C, C double bond O, Cl, and I treat this with AlCl3. Our expectation is that we should get C double bond O, C, Me thrice. But this is not the product you will get. Instead, first the carbocation which is formed in this case would be Me thrice C double bond O plus. This carbocation is formed. And oxygen will complete the octet, making it an octet completed carbocation. Carbon will take away these electrons and it will form Me3C plus and C triple bond O. C triple bond O is a very stable molecule, so that's why it will easily depart from here and gets the formation of CO gas. Now the CO gas will come out and the carbocation which is left out is a tertiary carbocation. So the product which you will get, in this case, the product which you will get in the presence of AlCl3 is actually a tert-butyl benzene. So this is the major product. So we got to be careful, like if in case if you want to substitute the C double bond O, C, Me thrice, that won't be easily happening in this. So these are the restrictions or limitations in Friedel-Crafts. Everybody make a note of it first. Right. So this is one of the limitations. The second limitation is the polyalkylation. This polyalkylation. This is the second limitation. So polyalkylation. So how the polyalkylation is done? See, all alkyl benzenes which are formed as product in Friedel-Crafts alkylation are more reactive than benzene. This makes them undergo polyalkylation. For instance, if we take benzene, react that with CH3Cl in the presence of AlCl3. What we first get is toluene, CH3. Next, this toluene which is formed is in fact more reactive than benzene. Toluene which is formed is more reactive than benzene. So the minute it says CH3Cl, it will again undergo alkylation. And this alkylation can happen at ortho position and para position. Why only ortho, why only para, we'll be studying in some time. So this is what you will get. And these two groups which are formed, which is xylene, will again further react with CH3Cl, the presence of AlCl3, which will again form much more substituted alkyl benzene this way. So it is endless. So we can keep on having more number of groups like this, and it can also form mesitylene, CH3, and CH3. And if you see if you see tri-alkyl substituted group, then this will be major because this will have less crowding. Because here the crowding is increasing, no? Methyl crowding is increasing. So you would see this as the major product in case if at all it is going towards the tri-alkyl benzene substitution. So this is something which we cannot limit, because once you get an toluene form, again you will get xylene, from there you will get to mesitylene. So we can't stop that. Okay. On the other hand, if you want to really stop this, suppose if I want only ethyls to be substituted, okay, let's say I want to use Friedel-Crafts reaction. So how we can rectify this? Let us see. Rectification. Suppose if we have benzene and I want this reaction to happen with EtCl, AlCl3, then definitely I can't expect only the ethyl to get substituted, right? We might have this ethyl substituting on multiple positions like this, and I can have ethyl substituting at tri positions like this. So objective is to stop this, and I want only ethyl to happen, and I do not want this poly substitution to happen. Then what we can do, we can make sure first an acylation is done. So first we will require CH3 C double bond O Cl in the presence of AlCl3. So Friedel-Crafts acylation can be done first, which is double bond O CH3. Now if you see, C double bond O CH3 is a withdrawing group on benzene, and when a withdrawing group is connected to benzene, its reactivity drastically comes down. So this is not going to go further polyhalogenation or polyacylation. So polyacylation is completely stopped. So you will get only one product here. Now once you get this product, what you can do is simply treat that with zinc mercury amalgam concentrated HCl. So what do we get? This is Clemmensen's reduction. So we would get the desired product. So this is our desired product, ethyl benzene. So most of the time when you want an alkyl to be the major product, then always do acylation first and then do the alkylation. So this is the best procedure. So in options, question options, you will be asked which of the following is the best procedure to get the ethyl benzene. Then this is a better procedure. I hope all of you got an idea now. Clear? Let me just write it as a note. C double bond O CH3 is deactivating or electron withdrawing group on benzene. Hence, no polyacylation takes place. Polyacylation takes place. Done with that? Yeah. Next.
Sir,
beta.
so if we have an electron donating group on benzene,
yes.
then polyalkylation would be more than benzene, sir?
Yes, beta. They are more donating now. So their electron density would be more. So the rate of electrophilic substitution would be more.
Okay, sir.
Next, if you see halides like vinyl halides. For example, if you see CH2 double bond CHCl and halobenzene like Cl. Okay, this cannot be used as an electrophile. In Friedel-Crafts alkylation. Got it? Because this Cl won't leave that easily, because it would show partial double bond character here. So even if you add any Lewis acid, you won't be able to generate an you won't be able to generate an electrophile. Okay, so the reason being partial double bond character between carbon and halide. That's why vinyl halides or halobenzenes cannot be directly substituted. Right? Next, both Friedel-Crafts reactions, which means both alkylation and acylation, fail with compounds right, with powerful plus R and minus I groups. Okay. For example, which are those kind of examples? Like aniline. Okay, aniline or alkyl anilines, alkyl substituted or N-alkyl anilines. N-alkyl anilines. What does that mean? If you take aniline, and we react that with RCl in the presence of AlCl3, and you're expecting that NH2 is a very strong donating group, benzene should be very electron rich, so the reaction would happen very fast. But the problem here is the lone pair present on nitrogen itself will actually attack on R, and thereby we would get NH2 R plus here, right? first AlCl3 here, AlCl3 here, this way, because the minute you will have RNH2, instead of this chlorine attacking AlCl3, the lone pair present on nitrogen, that itself can attack the Lewis acid, and it would form this kind of an adduct. And after this, you would see if the reaction has to further proceed here. Now this NH2 plus is a strongly withdrawing group, so hardly you would see any reaction happening here. Correct? So any form of anilines or N-alkyl anilines, any substituted N-substituted alkyl anilines, they completely fail with Friedel-Crafts reactions. Okay. Now within this is the aniline form. But when it comes to phenolic and ether forms, like in case if you have phenol OH in the presence of RCl, AlCl3 here there is a very poor yield that is being observed. Here we can have OH and R getting substituted at ortho position or at para position. All right, similarly OR, that is OMe or OC2H5, any of that, on reaction with RCl, what we will observe here is we can have some ortho or para substituted product, but the yield is very poor. So in case of phenols and methoxy substituted or alkoxy substituted benzene, then the yield is very, very poor. Same problem here also. You will see OH will react with AlCl3 and it will become OH AlCl3 plus. This will also be deactivated. Okay, but some amount of RCl is still observed, which is being reacting with AlCl3. Got it? So which will try to generate this R delta plus here with Cl and AlCl4 AlCl3 delta minus, and this R plus will get attached here to give a small or very poor yield of R substitution. And experimentally it has been observed aniline even does not give a small amount of yield also, but phenols and anisols, they would give a poor yield here. So if the question was asked like which of the following will give Friedel-Crafts reactions only, then you can still take phenols or methoxides, but not anilines. Now check this, both Friedel-Crafts reactions including alkylation and acylation fail with compounds giving minus R or minus M groups, or any powerful minus I groups, other than halogens and NO. Both the entire statement is given in NCERT 12th standard. In halogens chapter it is given. Halogens and NO will definitely give Friedel-Crafts reaction, but other than that, any withdrawing group which has minus I or minus M, or it could has strong minus I, all of them will be not giving Friedel-Crafts reactions. For example, NO2 does not give it because it has minus R as well as powerful minus I effect. No reaction. CF3, very powerful minus I effect. COCH3, very strongly minus R. Okay. Next, NH3 plus, very strong minus I effect. COOH shows minus R effect, minus I effect. SO3H, minus R, minus I. So all of these groups present on benzene will not give any form of Friedel-Crafts reactions. So any of these groups given in the exam, you should be able to pinpoint and figure out which of them will give the Friedel-Crafts reaction. So in a way, as a final conclusion, if you check out, FC reactions are mainly given by alkyls, R groups, all halides, NO, and with poor yield, and with OH and OR with poor yield. That's it. So whenever you think about Friedel-Crafts reactions, these are the ones you should think about. Of course, benzene will anyway give. Along with benzene, these are all the cases. Formylation. Now, formylation can be done in two ways. First, I'll write it as phi A reaction. That is Gattermann reaction. Gattermann reaction. Gattermann reaction is when we take benzene and treat that in the presence of Zn, Cn twice, and HCl, then reacting that with HCN or HCl again. You can, this, or second, reacting that with H2O again. Okay. So we would be able to get this as CHO. So formyl group has been added on benzene. So this will become benzaldehyde. Let's see the mechanism. HC triple bond N with nitrogen having a lone pair in the presence of a strong acid will accept the proton here and will become HC triple bond NH with plus charge. Now nitrogen having plus charge will immensely increase the positive charge on carbon. So that will become electrophilic center. So you can see how the electrophile is generated. First step. Second step, attack on the electrophile. So benzene will try to attack on C triple bond NH with plus charge here and H here. So it will attack on carbon. So this pi bond will shift on to nitrogen. So we will get positive charge here, double bond with CH double bond NH. This is what is formed. Now, once you get this, this is an imine form. Okay. As of now, without mechanism, I want you to remember one thing. Wherever we have C double bond N beta, on hydrolysis, this bond will always break. C double bond N bond will break. Hydrogens will be given here and OH will be coming onto this side. H will get added onto nitrogen. OH will gets added onto carbon. And this will happen 2 times. So one hydrogen here, one OH here. So what do we get? So we'll have 2 OH groups on carbon. So you can imagine that this will break the bond with 2 H here and 2 OH on this side. So we would get this as benzaldehyde here with C double bond OH positive charge and here NH3. Okay, which again water reacts as a base. As a base, it extracts the proton and retain the aromaticity. So we would get this as CHO. So that's how the benzaldehyde is formed. Make a note, everyone. Just the reagent is different. Rest all the work is same. Benzene, when we treat that with carbon monoxide in the presence of HCl and AlCl3, and then hydrolysis. This will also give benzaldehyde. So both these reactions are actually making a formyl group to get attached on benzene. So how does this happen? Let's see. AlCl3, when HCl is being treated with it, so the lone pair present on Cl will attack on Al here. So H plus is lost there. So we will get this as AlCl4 minus plus H plus. And the C double bond O which is present, C triple bond O which is present this way, right? This will attack on hydrogen here and makes itself AlCl4 minus plus HC triple bond O plus. Now you can see an electrophile is generated. So this is the step 1, the mechanism where electrophile is generated. So once the electrophile is generated, benzene will attack on it. So benzene will attack on C triple bond O plus H. So it will attack on carbon. This pi will shift onto oxygen. So we can get this as CH double bond O. CH double bond O with positive double bond and double bond here. That on hydrolysis will extract the proton and retain the aromaticity. Nitrosation. So nitrosation is nothing but attaching NO group. So if you have benzene, treatment with NaNO2, okay, in the presence of concentrated HCl and HNO2 H plus, we can expect this to form NO. Okay. NO is a weak electrophile. NO is relatively a weak electrophile. So that's why, in case if you have any strong donating groups, like I'll write it as Z, where Z is OH or NH2, the reaction would happen at a much faster rate. That is, we will get this as NaNO2, concentrated HCl, right? Or HNO2 and H plus. Either ways, if you write it down, we will get this as Z here and NO getting attached. Correct. So second reaction is relatively faster because we have donating groups. Z is a donating group. OH and NH2 will donate it to benzene and increase the electron density. Okay. Now, if you check this out, how the mechanism takes place. First, NaNO2, when you add it to concentrated H. See, problem I'll tell you. HNO2, nitrous acid, is not a stable acid. HNO2 will always turn into HNO3 like this, which means it will disproportionate. HNO2 will always disproportionate into these forms. Clear? Sorry, N2O. Will change into either this N2O or NO and disproportionate itself. Not N2O, NO, sorry. Yeah. Because if you see the oxidation state here, it is +3, +5, and +2. So it will always disproportionate in this way. So HNO2 is never stored beta in labs. It is instantly prepared. So when you prepare at the time of reaction, right, it is called in situ. In situ is a lab word, which means in the situation you are preparing. So we will prepare HNO2 in situ, which means NaNO2, when you add it to HCl, right, because this is a stable salt. You take this stable salt and then immediately add to HCl exactly during the time of reaction. Then we will get HNO2. Now there is still sufficient amount of HCl present in the solution. Now see the structure. This is the structure of HNO2 and there is sufficient amount of HCl present. So the lone pair present on this oxygen will act like a base, will take this H plus because this is a stronger acid compared to HNO2, and it would become H2O N double bond O plus. And H2O is a good leaving group, so it will leave behind this positive charge on nitrogen, which can undergo resonance stabilization as N triple bond O plus. Just like carbon monoxide, you will see an electrophile is generated this way. Here, everybody. So sometimes in the question, right, reagent is given in different formats. Reagent is either given as NaNO2 plus HCl. So you should understand the background. Or it can be directly given as HNO2 H plus. Both of them meant the same thing. Okay. We are generating an electrophile NO. This is called nitrosyl group. And this nitrosyl group, when it gets attached on benzene, that is called nitrosation. So, and benzene with strong donating groups like OH will give a better reaction. So this, when you treat with N triple bond O plus, so from here the attack is observed. It can happen at ortho position also. Generally para are more stable products. Major product will always be at the para position. You will get this. So this is how we'll get the nitroso-benzene. Okay. Or in this case, nitroso-phenol. Correct. And whenever we get a nitroso group, okay, nitroso group can always undergo tautomerism. If you remember, phenol, this is nitroso-phenol, will undergo and tautomerize into oxime. So that's what we call it as nitroso-oxime tautomerism. So we'll get this as double bond O, double bond N, and OH. This is oxime. Okay, and this is nitroso. You can either write the reagent in this format or you can write it in this format. Both of them are correct. Okay. Done, everybody? See, when it comes to aniline, although this we will study in amines, NH2, if this was reacting with nitroso group plus this way, then instead of benzene pi attacking here, the nitrogen itself will attack. Got it? So the nitrogen itself, I mean the lone pair of nitrogen itself will attack. So thereby we will get this as H, N, double bond O, because this group will go here. And this is the formation you will see. Now, once you get this form here, This nitrogen has positive charge on it. So the oxygen present on this N double bond O will take away this H plus. It gets rearranged to that form. So we will get this as NH, N double bond OH plus. Okay, OH plus. And since it is OH plus, oxygen will try to pull its electrons away. So the lone pair present on nitrogen will support nitrogen. And thereby, we will again get a similar form here, where we would have NH plus double bond NOH. Again, nitrogen is getting positive charge here. So OH, the oxygen present on it, will again take away this proton from here. So if it takes that proton away, what do we get? We would get this as N double bond N OH2 plus. OH2 plus is a good leaving group. That group will leave and nitrogen will support as the pi bond, which makes this nitrogen to have triple bond with plus charge on it. Correct. And if you see the solution will always have Cl minus, no? Cl minus will be present on it. So finally, the product which you will end up will be this with Cl minus present on it, which is what we call it as the benzene diazonium chloride. Very, very, very important reaction of benzene, reagent of benzene, BDC, benzene diazonium chloride. There are tons of reactions we can do with BDC. A lot of reactions can be done with BDC as the reagent. Okay. So to prepare that BDC, this is the appropriate mechanism. So I hope all of you understood that, how to prepare BDC. And if you just recall once again, one reaction we have already studied about BDC is that if you take N2 plus Cl minus, which is benzene diazonium salt, and treat that with H3PO2, right, it would become benzene with H coming here, and that will get reduced. N2 will come out and H3PO3 will be forming. Clear on this, everybody? So we have seen this as the preparation of benzene. Remember, for preparation of benzene, we use H3PO2 from diazonium salt. It would have been given benzene. And in fact, a lot of reactions are there. We can prepare phenols, acids, we can prepare halides, we can prepare esters, right? Any form can be prepared by using diazonium salt. So this becomes a very, very important starting material. Make a note, everyone. Next reaction is deuteration. Deuteration. If you take benzene and treat that with D2O and D plus in excess, what we would get is D getting attached on all the positions. This way. This is called deuteration. Next reaction is about addition reactions here. Addition reactions. How things can be added on benzene. So out of which the first reaction what we will see is hydrogenation. Hydrogenation. See, hydrogenation normally does not take place on benzene that easily. So we require a rigorous condition. So under vigorous conditions, okay, possibly at high temperature, or at high pressure, in presence of nickel or platinum as catalyst, then hydrogenation will take place. Suppose if we have benzene in the presence of 3H2 in the presence of nickel at around 160 degrees to 170 degrees and 10 atm pressure, this will convert into cyclohexane. Otherwise, the reaction won't take place. With most of the cases, we say it is hardly going to make any reaction. Clear on that? Cl2 and HNu. How Cl2 gets added up? See, when we take benzene and treat that with excess of Cl2, or at least 3 moles of Cl2, you can put it as excess also or 3 moles of Cl2 also. Sorry. So we would get chlorine substituted on all the positions. Correct. So this is IUPAC wise, it is called as benzene hexachloride as a common name. It is used as BHC, industrial name. It has many industrial name. One of the name is lindane or gamaxine or 666. These are all the industrial name for BHC. Now in here, if you see chlorine, how many different forms you can have? See, if you see these two are on the same side, I mean these two are on the same up or down, these Cl are on the same side. Like that, if you put all the combinations, right, we will get 7 mesoforms plus one DL pair, which means total 9 stereoisomers. So if you count that, we will get 7 mesoforms and 1 DL form. So total 9 stereoisomers we will get, right? So this is when you treat with 3 moles of Cl2 and heat, I mean, and light. Suppose without light, if you try to operate this reaction, that is Cl2, HNu, not HNu, sorry. Instead of that, we'll take AlCl3 and Cl2 and dark. In the case of dark, which means no light here, then 6 moles of Cl2 in the presence of AlCl3, okay, they will give you substitution now. You will get Cl, 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 Cl and Cl getting substituted, okay. This is called hexachlorobenzene. This is called hexachlorobenzene, okay, and the name is HCB. So you can see the difference between BHC and HCB. Toluene. The minute we have toluene form now, if we have toluene and then we treat with Cl2 and HNu, we will be able to get, you know, chlorine substituting at allylic position. So now we will get CH2Cl and CHCl2 and CCl3, depending upon how much amount of chlorine you are using. Correct. So if you use excess, you'll end up getting the CCl3 on benzene. So benzene, benzochloride or benzyl chloride or benzyl chloride, right? Remember the names here in IUPAC we have learned that this is called as benzyl chloride. This is called as benzyl chloride. And this is called as benzochloride. All these are formed. Now either of this, benzyl chloride, benzochloride, any of this, if you take and you let it react with aqueous NaOH, all chlorines will get replaced. So first one will become benzyl alcohol. So OH will be formed here. Second one will become CHO, benzaldehyde. Third one will become acid. So CO minus Na plus, benzoate, sodium benzoate is formed. So these are the reactions you will. Oxidation reactions, first starting with ozonolysis. Benzene, if you treat with O3, Zn and H2O, we'll get 3 moles of Glagzol. We have done this a lot of time now, so you should be able to figure out easily. Glyoxal. Yeah. Okay, so 3 moles of Glagzol. Second, this is an industrial reaction given in NCERT directly, so you better mark this up. When we oxidize in the presence of vanadium pentaoxide, at around 500 degrees, then this will become malate. You know that this is the malic acid which has become an anhydride. So this will become malic anhydride. So these 2 carbons which are there, right, they will get oxidized to form carbon dioxide. So 2 moles of carbon dioxide will be formed, 2 moles of H2O will come out. So this is the formation and the product is malic anhydride. Side chain oxidation can be done by lot of reagents. First, let me write the reagents. Reagents could be KMnO4, H plus and heat, the reagent number 1, or KMnO4, OH minus and heat, or K2Cr2O7 H plus and heat, or concentrated HNO3 and heat. All of them work on the same lines. They will all give the same kind of product here. Now let's see how the reactions take place. One very important thing note is there must be at least one benzylic hydrogen present. So we need to have at least one benzylic hydrogen for the oxidation to happen. For instance, no matter whatever groups this carbon contain, but it should have at least one hydrogen. This is that benzylic hydrogen. If and only if the benzylic hydrogen is present, the oxidation will take place, or else there is no oxidation that will take place on the side chain. So I suppose you guys understood that. Now let's see how the products need to be done. We have to do as many questions as possible in this, so keep writing. Starting with the first question, C. Suppose if we have toluene, CH3, this has 3 benzylic hydrogens, correct? And on oxidation with any of the above reagents, whether this is given, this is given, this is given, or this is given, with all these reagents, we will get a product as COOH. Second, now we have CH2CH3. Got it? See the technique what you will do. Mechanism is not important here. The technique of solving is important here. Check. First, if oxidation has to be done, first you will check whether there is any alpha hydrogen or not. Yes, there is an alpha hydrogen. So that carbon will not depart from benzene. So the other carbons you have to break it. So this carbon I have to break. And remember, single carbon on oxidation, these are all powerful oxidizing agents. Single carbon on oxidation will always end up at carbon dioxide. So we would get this as COOH, and this side of the carbon will become carbon dioxide. So 1 mole of carbon dioxide is released. Done with that. C part. Suppose in case if the compound is given this way. What beta?
Say B part once again.
In B part, carbon, this carbon has 1 benzylic, at least, what did I say? We should have at least 1 benzylic hydrogen, correct? So there is 1 benzylic hydrogen, and that is sufficient to start the oxidation. The oxidation will start something like this. If you have 1 H now, it will start inserting the oxygens inside. And this is how the oxidation will begin. Okay? And you have 1 more hydrogen, 1 more oxidation, 1 more oxygen will get inserted this way. 2 oxygens got inserted. What does 2 oxygens will make it beta? They will make it ketone. Double bond OCH3. This won't keep stopping. I'm just showing you the individual steps, how it goes. So when you have a keto form, you can get this into the enol form, remember, on heating. Correct? So you can get this into the enol form here. You will get this as OH double bond CH2. So remember, double bonds will be broken in the presence of these oxidizing agent. That's how it will break and finally become benzoic acid, and this single carbon will become CO2. So I guess you understood the procedure, what is happening there. So it is all about continuous insertion of nascent oxygens, and they will eventually give you this product. Now this would have still 1 hydrogen, right? So if we can figure it out, there is at least 1 benzylic hydrogen. That is sufficient to start the reaction. And first the alcohol will form, tertiary alcohol will oxidize it to form ketones, and that way it will keep happening. It won't stop. It won't stop until that particular carbon will become COOH, and the left side of the carbon, this will become carbon dioxide. Okay, and the right side there are how many? 2 carbons. 2 carbons would become acid, CH3COOH. Okay, I'll just point out with the colors, check out carefully. This carbon is this carbon, okay, and this carbon here is this carbon, right? And that green one just seeing is this one, sorry, this one is this carbon. Suppose if you have benzene with 2 methyl groups on it, on oxidation, you will get benzoic acid and 2 moles of carbon dioxide. I guess you must be able to figure out. So these two carbons are single carbons. So single carbons will always end up at carbon dioxide. No reaction here. Very good. So no reaction because there is no benzylic hydrogen. Next.
Sir, can you tell reason why, sir?
Just told you, benzylic hydrogen is not there, no beta. What is the minimum condition? I said there must be at least one, okay, benzylic hydrogen present. Then only the oxidation reaction will start. CH3 and CH3 is present. Oxidation is done. Now what do we get? Both this will become COOH and COH. Ortho positioned two COH groups. What do we call it as? Phthalic acid. So we'll get phthalic acid. I can note everyone. Now you can check out this side also there is a benzylic hydrogen. This side also there is a benzylic hydrogen. So if you have benzylic hydrogen, reaction will definitely take place. So what is the product formed here? This side will have COOH. This side will have COH. And this carbon will come out as CO2. So it is this particular carbon. This carbon will become COH. So phthalic acid is for sure. Plus, see these two carbons now. So these two carbons first will become oxalic acid. And oxalic acid will undergo further oxidation, right? You have seen in redox reactions, oxalic acid or any form of oxalate, right? First it will become COOH and COH, which won't stay stable. So it will break and further give 2 moles of CO2. So the final product would be phthalic acid and carbon dioxide. So in case if we have two methyl groups this way, meta to each other, and oxidation, we will get COOH, COOH, right? So this is called isophthalic acid. Isophthalic acid. Suppose if it is para to each other, which is paraxylene. So paraxylene on oxidation will give us COOH and COOH. This is called terphthalic acid. So these are all the isomers of phthalic acid. So there are, benzene dioic acid has 3 isomers: phthalic acid, terphthalic acid, and isophthalic acid. Benzene with CH double bond CH2. And oxidation. In oxidation, what would happen? See, double bond is already there. Now, since there is a double bond, it is not mandatory to have a alpha hydrogen. Are you getting it? Clear? So now it is not mandatory. So on oxidation, it will form COOH plus single carbon will turn out to be carbon dioxide. C triple bond CH. On oxidation, it would become COOH plus CO2. Whether it is a double bond or a triple bond, as long as there is a double bond or a triple bond is present, we will definitely get that bond breaking happening. So one thing, as I said, note is either alpha hydrogen, which is benzylic, or carbon must be part of double bond or triple bond. Then oxidation will take place. So I hope now you should be able to figure out how to solve the questions from oxidation. I've taken all the varieties, so you can figure out all the types now. Right. We have done Bose reduction earlier in triple bonds, right? Whenever we have a triple bond, if you want to convert that into a double bond and get a trans product, we used to do Bose reduction. Now, Bose reduction, this is 10th. So Bose reduction will also take place on benzene forms. So write down Bose reduction. So what would happen here? You take benzene, treat that with sodium in liquid ammonia or lithium in liquid ammonia. You can take any of that, okay? So sometimes it will be given liquid, so lithium, don't get confused. Or sometimes it can also be given as lithium in ETOH. It meant the same thing. The product formation is the reduced form and it will form this way. This is Bose reduction. Now see how the mechanism takes place here. So in case of benzene, right? First, an electron, see, benzene would always have a cloud, okay? And solution has become an electron rich solution, because the minute you add benzene to any of this solution, it will become an electron rich solution. The electron rich solution will slowly make an impact. Those electrons will slowly make an impact on any one of the carbon. So it slowly start moving around one of the carbons. So therefore, it will move that pi bond here. Remember, this is how the Birch reduction started in benzynes, alkynes also. So you will get a dot here. So an electron will be coming here, and here you will have negative charge, because the entire electrons, this pi cloud gets shifted onto this carbon. But you can see this is also a radical, this is also a radical, and these are all electrons which are very close to each other, so they will repel with each other. Let me remind you, even in triple bond, when you had a triple bond, first when the electron combined here, it happened to make a dot here, and this pi shifted onto here with negative charge. And because these two will repel each other, this negative charge were always trying to, this lone pair is always trying to form opposite to that. That's how we end up getting trans product. Remember, this was the mechanism in Birch reduction there in alkynes. The same intention here also. Now here, obviously, this lone pair cannot go inside because it is a cyclic ring and it is a restricted bond. Now, one thing what it can do, it can undergo resonance stabilization. So this negative charge can make a double bond here, and this double bond can shift as a minus charge. So we will have this double bond dot here, double bond with negative charge here. Then when it reacts with NH3, this negative charge will take away this H plus, correct? So we would get this as H getting substituted here, double bond, and a radical. Radical is still present. So the radical gets added with one more electron from the solution, so that its octet is completed. Now it will become a carb anion. Now carb anion again reacts with NH2, NH3. Here it will take away this H plus, and we'll end up getting this double bond with H and H here. Right. So that's how we get an isolated diene, cyclohexadiene. So we'll get isolated cyclohexadiene. Instead of benzene, imagine there is some donating species here. Like there is some donating group, electron donating group like CH3, OCH3, any of this group. So in case if there is any electron donating group, and then the Birch reduction is done, sodium and liquid ammonia. This time the addition will happen such that the double bond would be here. Imagine as if the electron donating group can support the double bond, so the final product will be this way. But if it is an electron withdrawing group, this way, and then we do the reaction with liquid ammonia and NH3, then the product formation would be this way, electron withdrawing group. All right. Here, electron donating groups could be CH3, NR2, OR. Correct. So these are all electron donating group. In case if at all I have OH, right? The problem is if you have OH, this sodium will immediately consume away this H. Correct. So that's why we do not have end product as OH. So that's why we see that there is no protic hydrogen. The rest all could be any donating group. These are electron donating group. At the same time, if you have electron withdrawing group, if you see electron withdrawing group here, then COR, NO2, correct? SO3R, COOR, these are all electron withdrawing groups. Okay. Even for that matter, if you have COOH also, it doesn't matter because CO minus will again keep taking that H plus. So all of these are electron withdrawing group. So they will make this product. No beta, OH cannot be included because when it comes to OH, right? When you have OH, electron will be taken away by this and it will become O minus, correct? Okay. Now you might expect that kind of thing happening with COOH, but COOH is already electron withdrawing. It is not donating species, correct? So even if this happens, CO minus, like electron will take away H plus, it will become CO minus, right? The CO minus will again take away H plus from the solution. But usually when it comes to phenols, this reaction do not take place that easily, because if you try to exhibit more in this form, O minus will be present here, correct? So when you have O minus, electrons cannot approach that part very easily, because this is a highly negative charge species now, correct? Understood?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, but CO is naturally withdrawing, no? CO is naturally withdrawing, so electrons can approach easily.